In 1959, Indonesia's first president, Soekarno, fell in love with a Japanese girl named Naoko Nemoto, whom he met during his state visit to Japan. Despite their significant differences in age and origin, they got married. Naoko became the president's sixth wife and changed her name to Ratna Sari Dewi. However, life took its turns of events, leading to tragedy and distress. What has Dewi's life been like after marrying the president? Where is she now, and what has happened to her 62 years later? Watch the full video to find out all the details. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let's continue. It all began at a time when Indonesia had gained its independence. The country's first president, Soekarno, made multiple visits to Japan. On one of these visits, he met a beautiful girl in 1959. Her name was Naoko Nemoto, and aside from Nemoto's beauty, Soekarno was captivated by her personality. Nemoto worked at an insurance company during the day. At night, she served as a hostess at the Kokusai Club in Akasaka, a place for foreign VIPs. There, a fateful meeting with an influential world leader changed her life. In a later report, Dewi had denied meeting Soekarno in a club. Sukarno's sixth wife claimed their first meeting took place at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo, where Soekarno was captivated by her beauty and invited her for tea with the Indonesian ambassador and his wife at the same hotel. Dewi debunked the rumor, stating that there was no way they could have met at Akasaka nightclub because the president was a dedicated Muslim. Soekarno didn't drink alcohol, and he always had to wake up as early as 5 a.m. for prayers. At first, Dewi admired and respected Soekarno. After some time, the admiration grew into love. Although Soekarno was 37 years older than the Japanese beauty, all Dewi saw was his youthfulness and his passion for people. The young damsel was just 19 years old when the 57-year-old Indonesian president saw her. And when they got to know each other, they found out they had a lot in common. Naoko was a lover of art. She had a particular interest in literature and enjoyed painting. Naoko was featured in a drama piece at the Shisher Hayakama Art Production Association in Tokyo. Soekarno wasted no time in making Naoko his wife. The lovebirds tied the knot on March 3, 1962. After the marriage, Naoko Nemoto changed her name to Ratna Sari Dewi, which means the jewel essence of a goddess. Soekarno himself carefully selected the name. Meanwhile, Dewi's mother was vehemently against the union, but her daughter paid deaf ears to this. 26 hours after the wedding, her mother had a heart attack, while her brother, Yasu, committed suicide. To help make Dewi feel better after losing her family, Soekarno designed and built a house for her, the Wisma Yasu, or the House of Yasu, which the next government later confiscated. Only a few people initially knew of the marriage between Dewi and Soekarno. When the news began spreading in the country, most people criticized Soekarno. One of the reasons the citizens protested against it was the economic crisis at the time. Sukarno's wives seemed oblivious to it because they continued indulging in luxurious lifestyles. At the same time, the president kept on importing more wives from other places. Since there wasn't much information on Dewi, the public even hated their first lady more. However, things took a different turn when one of the media houses published a story on her. Everyone wanted to know more about the beautiful Japanese lady, and this caused the magazine to sell out. The couple were blessed with a daughter, Kartika. Soekarno found himself placed under house arrest in March of 1967, just days after the birth of his daughter Kartika at the age of 67. The nation was experiencing unrest, resulting in the loss of many of Sukarno's close friends and allies. The year prior, he had made the difficult decision to send Dewi, pregnant with Kartika, back to her homeland of Japan, hoping she could return to Indonesia once the situation had stabilized. However, the situation never improved. 3 years later, in 1970, Kartika finally saw her father for the first time, but it was on his deathbed. Having been unable to return to the country, Madame Dewi and her daughter had been living in France. Soekarno passed away just a few hours after their plane from Paris touched down. The young girl was denied the chance to see her father alive because her mother could not come to Indonesia earlier. Soekarno endured years of solitary confinement under house arrest, deprived of medical attention and visits from his family. His communication with his own family became nearly impossible. After Sukarno's death, Dewi moved back to Tokyo with her daughter. As she grew older, Kartika pursued a career as a TV journalist in Tokyo before transitioning to work in an advertising agency in New York City. Kartika maintains a strong sense of nationalism towards Indonesia. This was evident through her establishment of the KSF Kartika Soekarno Foundation, which is dedicated to enhancing educational opportunities for children across Indonesia. Following her marriage to Fritz Frederick Seegers, the chief executive officer of the Barclays Global Retail and Commercial Bank, on December 2, 2005, Kartika welcomed a son named Frederick Kiran Soekarno Seeger into the world. Since the 1967 coup, Dewi has kept a low profile in Indonesian politics. Instead, she has dedicated herself to working with the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, and has shown interest in aiding refugees and those living under oppressive regimes like North Korea. Dewi has also had her fair share of controversies in the political sector. In January 1992, a big fight was at a party in Aspen, Colorado, USA. Dewi argued with Minnie Osmeña, also famous internationally as an heiress. Minnie, the granddaughter of a former president of the Philippines, made some remarks about Dewi's history. This led to Dewi hitting Minnie's face with a wine glass. Osmeña had to get 37 stitches to close the wound, while Dewi was held in Aspen for 34 days because of her disorderly behavior. The matter was settled in court, with Sukarno's sixth wife going for a plea bargain. Mrs. Soekarno had to serve a jail term for her disorderly conduct. Contrary to what most of us would expect, the former First Lady said she enjoyed the experience. According to her, it was fun and came with a type of peace that she had not felt for a long time. In 1993, a 53-year-old Dewi posed for a colorful photography session and released it in Japan. The 140-page book of photos was known as Madame de Siyuga. The shocking part was the kind of photos contained in the book. Some of them were nude, while others appeared to be tattoo-like body art. Although the book was not distributed in Indonesia, it was banned by the nation's Attorney General's office. Meanwhile, the former First Lady praised her work, stating that anyone who appreciated art would love the book. A few years later, an Indonesian magazine published some photos without Dewi's permission. Dewi filed a lawsuit against them and appeared in a Jakarta court to testify. Sadly, this began many more court appearances in different lawsuits. In recent times, Dewi has been vocal about many things, like Japan's lack of morals. She wrote in detail about the issue in her book, Allow Me to Say a Few Things, 2000. She has also picked on other top celebrities, criticizing and condemning their actions. She has been allowed to go scot-free because of her age and status. Dewi used to be the chairman of the Imperial Charity, where she had donated huge sums to the Japanese Red Cross Society, the Association for Aid and Relief Japan, and the Special Olympics. Her benevolence has been felt in places like Kashmir, Tohoku, and North Korea, which were enduring crises. In 2005, Dewi founded the Earth Aid Society, a non-profit organization focused on supporting refugees and disaster victims worldwide, as well as other underprivileged communities. She played a significant role in the 2005 Miss International pageant in Tokyo, where she acted as the judge overseeing the beauty contest. Dewi has been living life to its fullest. 2012, she cared for 16 dogs and managed her own cosmetics business. Dewi's charity also remained functional. Dewi earns a reasonable sum by doing partial jobs and appearing on Japanese television. Madame Dewi's beauty is something everyone would attest to. Even at 84 years, she looks way younger and is still youthful without any facelifts or plastic surgery. What do you think is most interesting about Dewi's life so far? That's a wrap. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.